Hey y'all, this is Bucket Talk here, your daily mailbag for all things Dallas Mavericks and Dallas Cowboys. But today we'll be talking about March Madness, potential contenders, big upsets, and star players to look out for. I'm Nirvan Bhattacharya, and I'm followed by my co-host.
Ahan.
So Ahan, it's that time of March. Tell me how your bracket's doing. Right now we're in the Sweet 16. Let me get some insight.
It's like my bracket's pretty good. I'm pretty sure me and you are at the top of our group right now.
Yeah, we're both second with the same percentage.
Yeah, there's a lot that can go wrong, honestly. Because there's for March, I didn't realize that Arkansas would be this good and developed of a team. Because they're really young, but they're really well coached.
Exactly.
But I didn't realize that. So whenever they beat St. John's, I was like, dude, is this going to mess me up? And now I'm looking at the Texas Tech game. I picked Texas Tech to beat St. John's. And I was like, now I'm thinking, I don't feel good about that pick anymore. I think Arkansas is going to win that game. And there's a couple of things that, I just don't feel good about now after this has been starting. Even though this is a little bit of a mild March Madness, don't get it twisted. This is still crazy. And if it was, any other major, sport, it's playoffs, this would be, still the best playoff by far. And this is much more entertaining to me than the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, just because it's sudden death, even though I like the NBA more. But there's also a couple of things, me personally, I have Houston winning, and I feel kind of good about it. But Duke, whenever Duke knocked out Baylor, I was they blew them out.
They looked really good.
Yeah,
Baylor's
a really good team. And I was
what I like about Baylor is their whole starting lineup is averages 10 plus. They play great team basketball. And VJ Edgecombe he's really good, but they're just a great overall team, and that was a dominant win with Duke.
Yeah, I think VJ Edgecombe will be a top 5 pick. And also another team that has really surprised me is BYU. They've been looking pretty good. I had Wisconsin winning and then beating BYU, but BYU has been looking really good, and they've been playing really good basketball. It's because of their big play, I think.
Yeah.
Igor Demon hasn't been necessarily really good. He's still been good, but he hasn't been as good as
number 55. I don't know his name. He just gets every rebound. He's going there getting and ones. He's slamming it down. He's been huge for them.
Yeah. Another team with really good bigs is Michigan. Area 51. They're so good. Their bigs play big point guards. It's really fun to watch. Let me get your thoughts on your bracket, because I know you have Florida winning. I had a big upset from UConn, but that didn't happen. So let me see what you have to say.
Yeah, so I don't know where to start. I mean, I have so much to talk about, but we can talk about Michigan because we were just talking about it. I actually have them in my Final Four. I think they're a 5 seed that's right now hot, and they've picked up the time you need them to pick up. They won the Big Ten championship. They beat Maryland. I think I'm forgetting another really good team they beat, but I love their like you were saying, their centers, Golden and Danny Wolf. And I think with them, as long as their turnovers they're limited, which I think they have been against A&M, they look great. They should be really good, and I think they can go in there, and I have them beating Michigan State to make the Final Four. I love their point guard. I'm forgetting his name, but he's been huge, especially when they.
He's really good. He's a really good ball handler.
Yeah. Really he kind of runs their offense, and then Danny Wolf, obviously, 7-foot demigod. He can dribble. He can shoot. He can get to the rim. But I'm really high on Michigan. I'm super upset. I had Gonzaga in my Final Four. It might sound a little crazy, but I thought they were gonna beat your championship pick, Houston, and I thought if they beat Houston, they will make the Final Four. And they came close. The thing is, they were not in control of the game, but they went on 2 crazy 9-0, 10-0 runs. Yeah. Which at the end of the game, it was a 4-point game, but it wasn't enough. Yeah. There was not enough time left. Yeah. And then I also have Duke, but I have, if Arizona were to beat Duke or even eventually Alabama, even though I have picked Duke, I think I would love that.
I agree, yeah.
Because that would knock out a lot of people in my brackets, and that would make it much easier.
But the thing is, after that game, the Ole Miss Michigan State game is probably gonna be the best game this weekend. And I have Michigan State winning, and then I have Michigan State beating Michigan.
Janai Broom, you have Tahad. Auburn is a tough team, but I think they do have a tendency to choke, but they made it pretty far.
To be honest, they haven't even looked that great, though. I think Michigan has looked better in March.
Yeah. But, their win against Creighton was huge. Creighton is a really good team. Especially in March. Their coach, they're so well experienced. I love their coach. I had Creighton winning it all last year. I think it was a little reach, but they were really good.
Creighton's really good, yeah.
Yeah. For me, what scares me is that my West region and Midwest is kind of messed up. Obviously, Gonzaga, I had to the Final Four, which I'm losing out on a lot of points there. And then also, I had Drake going pretty far. I was pretty high on them. I love PJ Haggerty, but they look pretty bad against, and they didn't lose to Tech by much, and they look pretty bad against them. I thought if they beat Tech, they can go and beat St. John's.
That's also why I'm getting a bit concerned about my Texas Tech Arkansas game, because Texas Tech is winning, but not by much against like not good teams, and Arkansas is like rolling. They just beat the 2 seed.
Arkansas is rolling.
They just beat the 2 seed as a 10 seed. It's like this is like probably like one of the scariest 10 seeds in a while.
For sure.
Anyone is favored a 10 seed over like a 2 seed. In the St. John's Arkansas game, it like wasn't that much of a spread from Arkansas versus St. John's. Like I'm pretty sure St. John's was only favored by about 2 points. So it was like even like Vegas had this a really close game, and it was like it was a really good game.
Yeah, I mean I picked Arkansas over Kansas, but I kind of messed up. Like in my other bracket, I know I had Tech beating St. John's, which now is going to be Tech versus Arkansas, but in this one I have Drake over St. John's, so I kind of messed up there. But I mean, Drake, I was pretty high on them. I thought they would at least make the round of 32 or get past there. I don't know. And then, yeah, like I was saying, Gonzaga is going to screw me over with a lot of points. I don't know, like this year, upsets have been limited. And like that's what I want to talk to you about next, like big first round upsets. Obviously we have McNeese, which I picked them. I even picked them in the Sweet 16, beating Purdue, which that didn't live up to the expectation. But let me get your insights on some upsets.
Honestly, this year it's been a little dry. I thought McNeese was the only like shocker, and I thought everything else was very like predictable. I thought the Colorado State game was also like something, but I didn't think they would go anywhere. I think what really surprised me was McNeese, because I thought they could have even won, which surprised me. I thought they could have beat Purdue. Because Purdue, they're good, but like I feel like we think they're better than they are.
That's what I'm saying. I honestly like Amir Khan. Like I seen this guy before, and I was like, okay, McNeese this is their second year making. I know last year they made it, and a lot of people had them as a dark horse, but I was like, okay, maybe this year they can get it done. I've seen them play, and like they're like a really like gritty team. They like rebound. Number 24, Christian Shimate, he's a beast. He goes in there, gets put back dunks all the time, and like, you know, they're really well disciplined on defense, but I feel like they just lacked offensively against Purdue. They couldn't get anything going. But against Clemson, they were dominant. I think they just like kind of shocked them with energy, with how much they hustled, but this was a short-lived Cinderella. It's not even a Cinderella at all.
Yeah, around 30.
That was one of the biggest upsets, I think another big upset, which we are not talking about as much, that I feel like it's a little underrated, is New Mexico over Marquette. Marquette's really good in March. They're a very consistent team. They're always doing well in March, and I know most people pick Marquette. New Mexico went in there and beat them. And they had a kind of close game with Michigan State, lost by about 7-8. That was a little surprising. And I'm surprised there was no like 3 or 14 over 3, because statistically, if you see each year, there's supposed to be at least one 14 over 3. And I picked Lipscomb because I thought they were a really good shooting team, and I was just like, okay.
They had an off game.
Yeah, screw it. Let me just pick them. You know, Iowa State's a really good team, but they choke, and that didn't live up to the expectations either. So yeah, obviously no 1 or 16 or no 2 or 15, but there was not much upsets this year, I feel like.
Yeah, there wasn't. It's been pretty dry. Who do you think has the best chance to win March?
This is tough. The best chance for me, right? Okay, I'm trying to think of who has the easiest path, and I don't think no one necessarily does. Like, Florida has to go and play Maryland, which is going to be a huge game. I could see Houston, but then they have to end up playing Duke, so that's going to be really tough.
Yeah, it depends. Honestly, the Michigan State-Michigan game is going to be a really good game, but I don't know if those two teams are better than Houston or Duke. It's like, you have to choose your poison with this team. They have shooting, they have size, they have rim protection, they have facilitators. Like, I don't know.
Well, what I will say is the only thing that scares me with Duke is this is a very young Duke team we've seen.
Yeah.
And once they get to the big stage, they could choke. And that's why I necessarily don't have them in my... I have them in my Final Four. I have them in my championship, but I have them losing to Florida. So I think right now, it could be like Auburn could go out and win. I think Florida easily could go out and win. I don't know about Houston, honestly. I'm going to go against you. I think Houston, I feel like they don't get it done. They can't get over the hump.
The reason I picked them is because LJ Cryer is
he's a beast. LJ Cryer is a beast. They're so good defensively, but I feel like sometimes they rely on their defense too much and they can't get going on offense. Yeah. And that's how they lose. Especially like last year. That's how they lost to Duke. They lost to Duke last year, right? I mean, if Houston could be sound on offense and they're always fundamentally sound on defense, they could go out and win. But I think they have a really tough path.
It's a scary team. They have the hardest path for sure, but it's a really scary team.
Auburn, I would say, has the easiest, but Auburn should knock down Michigan or Michigan State.
I don't think they will, though. That's the thing. I think Auburn's going to lose to Michigan.
I hope. I mean, I have Michigan in my Final Four.
The game I'm really going to watch this weekend is going to be the Ole Miss Michigan State, the Auburn and Michigan, and then obviously the Duke Arizona. I know we've talked a little bit about all the possible outcomes, and like all of the teams right now that are like really good candidates to win, even though like there's like lower seeds like Michigan. Like I don't think Michigan's a 5 seed. That's a very deceiving. So like who is like your dark horse to win? Like who, like maybe not your top choice, but maybe like your second choice, and it's like kind of like an underdog.
So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Michigan. I know they're a 5 seed, but I think they're so talented offensively, and they're super hot right now. They just won the Big Ten championship, and this is where you want them to pick up this, and center duo is amazing. I think they're easily one of my dark horses, but also Arkansas. Arkansas could possibly make it to the Elite Eight, and who knows, like they're a really good team right now. They look amazing, but yeah, we'll see.
The thing is, with Michigan, okay, college basketball is very different from the NBA. College basketball does not have the same size for every team. So whenever you have 2 7-footers on one team, it's like impossible to guard. If you look at the matchups Michigan has, if they beat Auburn, I have them playing Michigan State. I think they'll win because of the size difference.
Yeah.
And then after that, if they play Florida, I think they'll win. I think they can beat Florida. And I think the only team that matches up with Michigan equally is Duke. Because they have the 7-footer who's really skilled. They have Cooper Flag. They have the shooting to space out the bigs. That's the only team I can see beating Michigan.
So how far do you have Michigan in your bracket?
I had Michigan State beating them. But the thing is, now I don't think that'll happen. Because I didn't think they'd get off to this red hot of a start, to be honest with you.
That's exactly what I thought. But I think Florida will beat Michigan just because Florida is so athletic and talented. They have a lot of size too. Their size, like their big men aren't as talented, nor as talented compared to Golden and Wolf. Their guard play is amazing. They look phenomenal. Like Walter Clayton is an animal.
So good.
Man, watching the UConn game, the threes he was hitting was absurd. There was like fadeaways, like just when they needed a bucket, he's been so clutch for them. And I love the pick and roll action they've been running. I was just getting them easy buckets.
Who is the center on Duke who I'm thinking about?
Center?
He's the center. They play him next to Flag. He's really athletic. I don't know. That team matches up well with Michigan. I feel like Duke is just like, they can space them out while still being able to defend those big people. Does Florida have spacing from their bigs?
What do you mean the spacing? Like,
can the bigs shoot?
I don't know if the bigs can shoot.
So you can keep the Michigan bigs in the paint then. The thing with Duke is like Flag can shoot. Their whole team can shoot. So you space out the bigs. That's the only reason I'm like a little bit not as high on Florida as you are, because I think if they play Michigan State, they'll beat Michigan State. But I think if they play Michigan, they'll lose.
Are you talking about Malak?
Yes.
He's good. He's 7'2". Yeah.
He's really athletic. Duke Arizona game is gonna be a beautiful game. Like
if Arizona wins that,
it's gonna be like Caleb Love, like returning.
Caleb Love
returning to Duke as a former Tar Heel. Last time that happened, like they beat Duke in their arena, which was like crazy. I don't know, dude. There's like a lot of bad blood there. Like even in the interview Caleb Love had, he was like, "We just gotta like work harder. We just gotta." I don't know. Like there's a lot of bad blood there.
So it looks like tomorrow, obviously we have the Duke and Arizona game. We have BYU and Alabama. Who do you have in that game, by the way?
Kentucky.
We didn't really
Tennessee. I have Kentucky.
You have Kentucky. I have Tennessee. I think Tennessee could beat Houston.
For Houston, it's all like offense now. Defense is good. But in March, there's like certain teams that like on offense, you get hot or you don't. And it's like for them right now, it's like at a still. They're not spiked yet. So I feel like if they spike, they're going to be unbeatable.
And I feel like if they run into Bama, well, the thing with Bama is they're completely opposite from Houston. All offense, no defense. So that will be a very interesting game. I think that's where Houston can control the game. But I think Bama they're definitely not a dark horse, obviously. They're a 2 seed. They're an underrated team. They're really good. We're not forgetting last year they made the Final Four. I love their center, Grant Nelson. He's so tough. He can control the game. He can shoot. He can dribble. He can score.
Even though there's not as many upsets, these games are still, like, if you compare them to other postseasons, like, this would be the best postseason of any other sport. And it's like a dry year. That's how you know, like March Madness is super entertaining. And for basketball fans, it's like the best time of the year because like you get to watch like basketball nonstop for like 2.5 weeks. It's like so fun.
Yeah, and like this year, you know, most of the games were during spring break, but I remember last year, like when it was during school, it made it even more fun.
I loved NC State. Whatever happened to DJ Burns?
DJ Burns. I think he plays overseas now.
Yeah, he was really good.
And they had a really good wide guy. He was a shooter. I'm forgetting his name. He was really good. He was huge. He hit the buzzer beater, I think, in the ACC chip.
Yeah, I don't know. That NC State team was a Cinderella. They had the whole country all behind them. Like it was like crazy.
Yeah, DJ Burns, man, I miss him. I got to saw him play in person.
Did Duke win?
Yeah, because I know NC State, they beat Oakland and Jack Golke.
Yeah.
And then they lost to Duke, and then Duke beat. Wait.
Did Duke?
No, I think NC State won.
No, Duke won. Yeah, Duke won.
Duke won. I'll look.
NC State won.
Yeah, NC State won. Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's what I was about to say.
I didn't know. That was a crazy year. Because that was the year that was last year. So McCain, that was the McCain year. Yeah, he had a really good game. He had like 20-something points. He was like the only one who showed up. I remember Tyrese Proctor didn't play that well, but I don't know.
Last year it was Bama, UConn, NC State, and Purdue in the Final Four.
I don't know. Even though like the games are a bit dry this year, like I still think it's like so fun to watch. Like.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been so fun. It definitely carried my spring break.
It was really nice because you got home and then you're like, oh, there's basketball on. Like I was just like, because like NBA, like they don't play during the day, dude. Like you need something.
All right, man.